Hello, my favorite bookish people. Today, we're going to be ranking every single book that I read in 2025. I did put my rereads and my DNFs in here too. Magically, I don't really have anything to yap about, so let's just get right into it. All right, guys, so I have 98 books to talk about. I can't believe I read that many books in 2025. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. Obviously, in no specific order, we have All Fours by Miranda July. This was a very weird one. This is the last book that I read in 2025, actually. So I read this very recently, and it was one of those books that I'm almost embarrassed to say that I didn't hate. It was pretty thought-provoking, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it to everybody. I think I'm just gonna put it in enjoyed it but never think about it, because I guarantee I will not think about this often. And we have Krampus, the Yule Lord by Brom, which I very much enjoyed. I love Brom's writing, so this is gonna go in almost perfect. It wasn't God tier because I felt that it was a little bit slow at times, but the story really is chef's kiss. And we have Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This is definitely going in new God tier. This was my last 5-star read of 2025. I did not expect to like this as much as I did. I kind of expected it to be mid, actually, but yeah, it ended up being one of my favorite books of 2025. I just thought the main character was so relatable. I love the story. I can't wait to reread it already. Next, we have The Winter Layered, which is a time travel romance, kind of similar to Outlander. I liked this. I thought that it was pretty easy to get through. I did have, I guess, my issues with it. Not that it was anything crazy. I think I'm just gonna put it under enjoyed it, but never think about it. Again, this is one that I read recently, but I just don't think that it will be one that I think about often. I am gonna continue the series though, because we're reading it in my in-person book club, and I am interested to see what the other books hold. Then we have Grief, a Comedy. This is my most recent DNF. I just couldn't get into this writing style, and I actually got it as an ARC, and I didn't realize, I guess I just wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize that it was nonfiction, and I just wasn't really interested in it. We then have Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. I think this was one of my least favorite of this series. Well, maybe not my least favorite. I think I'm going to put it in enjoyed it but never think about it. It's not a great book, guys. There was many things that could have been improved, but it was very nostalgic, and that I loved about it. As far as New Moon goes, I liked this one the most. This is my favorite because I'm a Jacob girly, and she should have ended up with Jacob. Sorry, not sorry. He was a better choice for her, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that this book was almost perfect. So we're gonna also put that in enjoyed it, but never think about it. Next up is Eclipse. This is I want to say my second least favorite of the series, but again, I think I'm just going to put it in enjoyed it but never think about it, just for the nostalgia. Then we have The Winners by Fredrik Backman, which if you know me, you know that it's a new God tier. Absolutely love this series and love Fredrik Backman. Next up, we have Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I was hoping that I was going to be a Bride girly and that I was going to love this, and I did enjoy it for the most part, but it's not one that's going to stick with me, guys, so it's going right there. Okay, we have The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I enjoyed this one more than most people. I think most people have a lot of things to complain about this book, but I wouldn't say that it was almost perfect. And I don't really ever think about it, if I'm being honest. I enjoyed my time with it though. So once again, we are going in, enjoyed it, but never think about it. Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is my favorite book of the Chestnut Spring series, and it's a new God tier. Not gonna lie to you. Theo Silva is my dream man. This is the book boyfriend for me right here. Next, we have Helpmeet by Nabin Ruthnam. This was a very weird horror novella, and if I'm being completely honest, it had the shock factor, and I kind of did enjoy it. Am I gonna put it there? You know what? No, I'm gonna drop it down, because the first half of this book was so extremely boring, and I think that it was just the shock factor at the end that had me reeling, which I feel like can sometimes cloud how I feel about a book. When a book can shock me, I just automatically think that it's better than it was, but it really wasn't the best book ever. Howl's Moving Castle. This is a hard one. I did enjoy this. I felt that it was slow and I wished more was going on, I think. I think it being like a modern classic, I just kind of expected more from it, I think. I didn't hate it, but I don't think it was for me. I think I'm going to put it in not for me, but not horrible. We have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I'm putting this in almost perfect because I absolutely loved this book. The only reason it's not a God tier is because I did guess the plot twist and the ending, but it was still so good. One of my favorite thrillers of all time. Recently, I've discovered that thrillers really just aren't my favorite genre, and so I will probably read a lot less of them in 2026, but this one was so good. Another thriller, The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but it is not one that I think about. I might recommend it to people, but it just wasn't one that sticks with me. Powerless by Elsie Silver. I, again, enjoyed this while I was reading it, but I did have my problems with it. But I don't think that the problems outweighed how much I liked it. So we're putting it in enjoyed it, but never think about it. Then we have If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia, which is going in new God tier. I absolutely loved this book. The romance was so sweet. I loved the kids in this book. I thought they were written in a way that was believable. The autumn vibes are unbeatable. This is one that I hope to read every single year during the autumn time because it's just so atmospheric. Heartless by Elsie Silver is going in almost perfect. That was my second favorite one of the Chestnut Spring series. Really enjoyed my time. I think Willa and Cade are like the perfect grumpy sunshine couple. The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. If you know, you know. This is new God tier because this was my favorite book of 2025. If you take anything from this video, it's to read The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. It's so freaking good. I loved every single second of it. Passion Project by London Sperry. This one is a little bit hard too because I don't often think about it when I think about my favorite books, but when I do think about it, I remember how much I liked it. I think I am going to put it in almost perfect because I really did enjoy my time with this. I think there was a few things here and there that I didn't love about it, but I just loved the concept of this story and I thought all of their adventures together were really fun. It was a good time. Highly recommend. The Book Eaters by Sun Yi Dean was a reread, and it's not a new God tier, but it is a God tier. Absolutely love this book so much. Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. If you know me, you know that Fredrik Backman, as we were talking about before, is one of my favorite authors of all time. This is my least favorite Fredrik Backman book. I don't know if I was just super slumpy when I read it or what, but I just could not get into it, honestly. But his writing was so good and I still had like annotations because the quotes are just stunning as always. So I think I'm going to put it in enjoyed it but never think about it. If there was like a category in between enjoyed it but never think about it and not for me, I think it would be kind of in there almost because I really like his writing and the quotes, but the story just didn't really do it for me. Then we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I'm still very disappointed by because I thought that I was really gonna like it. And it's not that I disliked it. I actually don't know where to put this one either because I did enjoy aspects of it, but I do feel like the plot and some of like the things in the book were very flawed, I guess. I think I'm gonna put it in enjoyed it but never think about it because it wasn't bad and I did really enjoy certain aspects of it, but it just wasn't my favorite and it's not one that's gonna stick with me. Little Fires Everywhere, I'm putting in DNF. There wasn't anything like inherently wrong with it. It was just like really slow when I first picked it up and I soft DNF'd it and I was planning on going back to it, but I don't feel like going back into it. So I'm just gonna hard DNF it. I have too many books on my TBR to read books that I'm just like not interested in. We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III. Another one that's hard to place because I did enjoy this, but I wouldn't say that it was perfect. I think I'm gonna put it in enjoyed it but never think about it. This was a gruesome one, you guys. The body horror was on another level. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm sorry for the TJR lovers, but this was not for me. Not horrible. I think the audiobook was really really well done. If I'm being totally honest, I was just bored. I was bored the whole time, and I was thinking about what I was going to read next while I was reading this book. Hopeless by Elsie Silver, my third favorite book in the Chestnut Springs series. I'm going to put it in almost perfect, and I think that might be controversial because I think a lot of people don't actually like this book, but I really enjoyed Beau and Bailey. The only thing that I have to say that I didn't like was how young Bailey was. I think Beau was like 35 or something, and Bailey was 22. And that just felt like a little bit, not that the age gap was big, but just Bailey was just too young, I think. A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. This was slower than I expected it to be. I didn't hate it, but I don't know if I would go as far as to say that I enjoyed it, to be honest. I think I am going to put it in not for me, but not horrible. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Immediately going in new God tier. I love this series. It was so good. Small things like these. I'm going to put it in enjoyed it, but never think about it. I thought that the writing was really well done. I think the writing is really what carried the story because the story itself was very mundane, but there was a lot of feeling in the writing and thought-provoking. I enjoyed it. The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I love this book. I read this in December and it took me so long to get to this, but I am so glad that I ended up picking it up. I'm going to put it in almost perfect. I almost put it in new God tier, but it's not that good. But it still is very cute, very wholesome, one of my new favorite reads of all time. Chain Gang All Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. I'm going to put this in enjoyed it, but never think about it. I was going to put it in almost perfect because I do really enjoy this one. But if I'm being so for real with myself, I don't really tend to think about this one too often. But it is one that I would definitely recommend. And if he was ever to come out with like a sequel to this one, I would definitely pick it up. Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark. I'm putting this in almost perfect. Again, I was almost going to say new God tier because it's just that good, but I don't think it reaches that God tier status. So far, everything in God tier is 5 stars, and Ring Shout, I think I gave a 4.5 stars, so it's just barely didn't make it. Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw is going in worst of the year / DNFs. No, I did not DNF this, but this was the worst book that I read all year. It was not scary at all. The plot was awful. The characters were awful. No good. Do not recommend. The Haar by David Sodergren. This was another very weird little horror novella. I think I'm gonna put it in not for me, but not horrible, again with Help Me. It was all right, but I don't know. I don't know that I can say that I liked this, guys. I would not recommend this to most people. Dragon Fruit by Makia Lucier. This is another one that I feel like needs like an in-between category. I think I'm just going to put it in enjoyed it, but never think about it. I thought that like the folklore was really great in this book, but I just wish that there was like more to the story. I feel like this would have made a beautiful duology instead of a standalone. I just felt like the author could have done so much more if it was in a duology. Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. I'm going to put this in enjoyed it, but never think about it. I know a lot of people have been obsessing over this one lately, but it was average to me, guys. It wasn't anything outstanding. I thought it was a cute Christmas read, one that I would definitely recommend. For some reason, I was having a little bit of a hard time feeling the connection between the two characters, though. We have Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This one, again, is hard because I did really enjoy it, but I don't think that I would like reread this. So I think I'm going to put it in enjoyed it, but never think about it. I do think about it every once in a while. I think the ending of this book made up for the slow beginning and maybe might have like muddled my feelings on it initially. The writing is very beautiful. House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I really loved this one. I did not rate this a 5 stars, but my initial reaction was to put this in God tier. I am going to put it in almost perfect. I think that the second book in this series could very well be a new God tier book because now I like know the world and I don't have to like slog through through that world building. So stay tuned for that. We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kleiwer. I'm going to put it in, enjoyed it, but never think about it. I did enjoy my time. I was so scared reading this book. I think this probably was the scariest book that I read in 2025 in terms of like genuinely freaking me out, but the plot was all over the place and I just couldn't see past that, unfortunately. Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau, new God tier. Absolutely love this book. So stunning. The character work is some of the best character work that I have ever read in my life. The audiobook is absolutely amazing. Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. It's gonna go in almost perfect. I did enjoy my time with this one. This is the one where Bestie Lysandra became one of my favorite characters of all time. The Favorites by Lane Fargo. It's gonna go in, enjoyed it, but never think about it. I really liked the audiobook for this. I think the style of it, like the interview style, was really fun. I think that she did a good job with the character work, but it is not one that sticks out to me as being one of my favorites of all time. Pearly Gates by Bonnie Solomon. I'm gonna put it in, enjoyed it, but never think about it, but I would be lying if I told you guys I never thought about it, because I do once in a while, because it was just so unique and so fun. Highly recommend that one if you're looking for like a funny palate cleanser. I really enjoyed it. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen, going in, God tier. Absolutely stunning. Another one of those books where I just would not change a single thing about it. It was perfect to me. Every Precious and Fragile Thing by Barbara Davis. Again, enjoyed it, but never think about it. This would be another one if there was a category in between the orange and the yellow categories. It would go in there. It's like I liked it while I was reading it, but I genuinely really do not ever think about it. What is this one? I can't see. I'm old. Oh, The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis. This is going in, not for me, but not horrible, I guess. There wasn't a lot of redeeming qualities about this book. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it was the worst book ever. Maybe I am. I am actually, I think, gonna move it down to worst books of the year. There was like one good thing about it, which isn't a lot of good things, and there was some really not great things about it. This is the last book in the Chronicles of Narnia series, by the way, and it just drew too heavily on the Bible, I think, and I just wasn't really vibing with that. Not to mention it is extremely racist. Extremely racist. So didn't like that at all either. The only redeemable quality was that the main characters from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came back in this book, and I was waiting the whole series for them to come back because they were my favorite of the whole series, so I'm glad we got a little glimpse of them at the end again. Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. I feel like I read this a million years ago. This is a hard one, guys, because I love this series with all my heart. If you didn't already know, Legendborn and Bloodmarked were my two favorite books of 2024, the first two books in this series, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this one disappointed. Not to the point of me not liking it. I still really enjoyed myself because I love these characters and I love this world so much. But compared to Legendborn and Bloodmarked, this just did not hit. If I'm being so for real with myself, I don't really think about it, and I think I'm gonna put it in enjoyed it, but never think about it. Sorry guys, my camera died and I don't remember what I was saying about Oathbound. But basically, I loved being back in this world with my characters, but it just didn't hit as much as I had hoped it would. James by Percival Everett is a new God tier book. I rated this a 4.5 stars, and I think I am going to bump it to a 5 stars because I think about this book frequently. I can't wait to get my physical copy of this book and put it on my shelf. I can't wait to do a reread. I loved it so much. The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman is going in new God tier. This is just a little short story that you can get on Amazon, and within, I don't know, I think it was 68 pages, Frederick Bachman had me laughing. I won't say full-blown crying, but I was in my feels. He just does such a great job, and his writing is flawless. Sula by Toni Morrison. I enjoyed it, but I don't often think about it. I am really excited to dive more into Toni Morrison's work because I did really enjoy this one, but it was a little bit slower paced and a little bit mundane, but still I think it had a lot of feeling behind it. So for that, I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it still. Flawless by Elsie Silver goes chosen worst books of the year. I hated this book. I hated this man. That's really what it was. It wasn't necessarily the book. It wasn't anything about the writing. I actually liked the FMC. I liked her a lot, but I absolutely hate this MMC. Worst MMC I've ever read, I think, of all time. I don't like him. Funny Story by Emily Henry is going in new God tier. I love that book so much. I really want to do a reread of it because when I did read it, I feel like I was a little bit slumpy, so I didn't get like the full feeling that I wanted to get from it. But looking back on it, I just know that upon rereading this, it's going to be a 5-star book. I just know. Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. I'm going to put it in almost perfect. I really enjoyed this one. I think this is such an underrated Kristen Hanna book. I thought the premise was really interesting. Highly recommend. The Maid by Nita Prose. Enjoyed it, but never think about it. And I wouldn't continue the series. I know that there's, I think, 2 other books and a Christmas novella in this series. And I enjoyed the first one, but not so much that I want to continue on with the series. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros is going in almost perfect. I loved being back in this world with our characters, but this was my least favorite of the 3 that are out so far. I think the pacing was a little bit off, and there's nothing that I dislike more than world building in a later book. And maybe that's on me. Like maybe that's my fault. Maybe that's something that happens frequently. I don't know. But I absolutely hate when we have to trudge through more world building when we're already 3 or 4 books in. Nothing makes me more mad. And it felt like this book was that. Just like extra unnecessary world building. Lessons in Chemistry is one that I did DNF this year, so I'm not gonna say anything about the whole entire book, but I just felt that the beginning was really boring. I think I made it maybe 20% of the way through, and I was just so bored. I was so bored, and I was listening to the audio of it too. And I'm really surprised by this one, honestly, because I thought this one would be a new God tier. I figured that this one would be a new God tier, but no, I couldn't get into it. My Husband's Wife by Jane Corey is going in worst books of the year. There was nothing inherently horrible about the writing or anything. It was just so boring, so forgettable. That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. We're putting this in almost perfect. Another one of my favorite thrillers of the year. I actually just got the e-arc of her next upcoming book, and I'm so excited to read that one. But I thought That's Not My Name was super fast-paced, very exciting and thrilling, as a thriller should be. The Assassin's Blade is going in almost perfect. My favorite novella is the one where she's with the silent assassins in the desert. I love the scene where her and Ansel of Briarcliff are riding their stolen horses through the desert. Nothing is better than that scene. I love that scene so freaking much. So good. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows is not new to me, but it is a God tier book. I hate to say it because your girl does not like J.K. Rowling, but I freaking love that book so much and that series. Lunaria by Kara Douglas is going in worst books of the year. This needed a lot of work. I don't know if this was a debut or what, but it needed a lot of work. Like it had bones, but it didn't get anywhere close to where it needed to be. I think that's Prince Caspian. The 4th book in the Chronicles of Narnia. I'll put it in enjoyed it, but never think about it. I did actually really enjoy this one. I think actually this is my 2nd or 3rd favorite book of the series. Highly recommend. Like if I was to reread 3 books in the Chronicles of Narnia series, it would be Prince Caspian, The Magician's Nephew, and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Those 3 are top tier, amazing. Just Last Night by Mari McFarlane's gonna go in not for me, but not horrible. I didn't enjoy my time with this book, unfortunately. I just had different expectations for it, and I found it to be boring. I thought that the grief aspect was really well done in this book, but it really just didn't hit for me. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell is going in almost perfect also. This was my favorite thriller of 2025. This had me on the edge of my seat the whole entire time. Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban is going in almost perfect. Love that book so much. Love that series so much. The Atlas Paradox is one that I DNF'd. It was my first DNF of the year. I just could not take these characters characters for another moment. I read The Atlas Six and liked it enough that I wanted to continue the series, but once I realized in this book that the characters were not going to get any less insufferable, I couldn't do it anymore. Night by Elie Wiesel. It's hard for me to put this in a tier because it's a nonfiction book and I don't even rate nonfiction books. And this is also like a real life experience that someone experienced, so that makes it like even harder. Like it feels like I'm rating somebody's life, which I don't like to do, but I am going to put it in new God tier, even though it's the second time that I read this book, because this is a very impactful story. If I were to make a list of my favorite nonfictions, it would be on that list. So we're going to put it in new God tier. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez is going to go in new God tier as well. I love this couple, mostly the man. I actually was kind of annoyed with the girl in this book. I forget her name, because this man was just literally so perfect. She wasn't recognizing the gold that she had found in this man, and that made me annoyed. But just, I love this story. I love this man. Such a good romance. The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis, which is the second to last book in the Chronicles of Narnia. I barely even remember what happened in this. I'm just going to put it in not for me, but not horrible, because I know that I didn't hate it by any means, but I wouldn't go as far as to say I liked it. Order of the Phoenix. I'm going to put this in almost perfect. Once again, really love this book and this series. All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. I'm going to put it in not for me, but not horrible. It was kind of a toss-up between that or worst books of the year, because I really didn't enjoy this thriller. I thought that it was confusing and also not thrilling at all. So yeah, but I still can see why somebody that enjoys thrillers might like it. Half-Blood Prince, going in God tier, guys. Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows are my two favorites of the series. Love them so much. I cried so hard with both of them. Oh my gosh. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins is going in almost perfect. I expected this to be a new God tier book. I was a little bit disappointed though, only by a smidgen, because obviously it's in almost perfect. I don't think any Hunger Games book could disappoint me fully to the point where I don't like it. I think my only complaint is that I wish we got more from this book. I feel like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was so thick, and I absolutely loved that book so much. And then Haymitch's book was so short. And I was just like, I want more Haymitch. Goblet of Fire is going in almost perfect. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez also is going in almost perfect. One of my favorite romances of the year. I will say the miscommunication trope in this one is very annoying, but other than that, I love this couple. A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum is going in new God tier. This was, I think, my third favorite book of the year. Absolutely stunning, amazing prose, such a good, eye-opening story, one that I think every woman could relate to. So stunning. Us Against You by Frederick Bachman is going in almost perfect, actually. This was my least favorite book of the trilogy. I didn't dislike it. Obviously, it's in almost perfect, but I think that it was very politics heavy and parts of it dragged for me. But other than that, the quotes were absolutely stunning and amazing and perfect, and I just love this series. An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. It's going in, enjoyed it, but never think about it. It was fine. It wasn't really that thrilling, even though it was a thriller. It was an interesting concept, I will say. I do see how people might really like this one. I enjoyed it. It's just not one that I would go back to or that I think of frequently. Children of Fallen Gods is going in almost perfect. And on top of that, Mother of Death and Dawn is also going in almost perfect. I absolutely love these books. This whole series is such a good one. Definitely, I would love to do a reread of this series at some point in my life. Yeah, I just love it. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I think I'm going to put it in enjoyed it, but never think about it. I know this is a really popular one, actually, and I didn't dislike it by any means. I actually really enjoyed the MMC and the FMC. I think it was really cute and sweet sweet. I don't think there was anything wrong with it in particular. It's just not one of my favorite romances of all time. Chamber of Secrets is going in almost perfect. Do we need any more explanation on that series? Probably not. Queen of Shadows is going in new god tier. Absolutely stunning, amazing, perfect in every way. Dorian Haviliard. Crown of Midnight is going in almost perfect. Closer to god tier end of things because I really enjoyed this book. I really, really did. Such a fun time. Don't hate me, but I am a K-All girly, and I just was disappointed by the end of this, if you know what I mean. Heir of Fire. I'll put it in almost perfect. I had the same problem with this one that I did with, what was it? Oh, Onyx Storm. I don't want to be on the fourth book and having to build a whole nother part of this world. I think that's probably a me problem because that probably happens in like a lot of fantasy books, but I don't know. I hate it. Like, I want the world building for a world to be done in the first couple books. If I have to read the first book that's full of world building and then 2 more books that there's no world building in, you think you know the world, and then you get to the 4th book and there's like a whole bunch more world building. World building is not my favorite. Once the world is built, I love the world and I love the ins and outs of the world, but getting through the world building is so hard for me. So I just hate to see a second round of world building. Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. I'm going to put it in almost perfect. Really, really enjoyed this one. Like I said, I am a K-All girly. This one was a little bit more mundane and slower paced, but I still really enjoyed it. For me personally, I do think we could have lived with a little bit less of Nesrin's story. She wasn't my favorite, but still, it was good. We have Twilight, which is my least favorite book of the Twilight series, but not gonna lie, I'm just gonna put it in enjoyed it because it was just so nostalgic. There's nothing else to say. It was not good, but very nostalgic. Next, we have Throne of Glass. I think I'm going to put this in enjoyed it, but never think about it. It was a good start to the series. This was her debut novel, so it was just not the best, but I also don't think it was bad. We have Pizza Girl by Jean Ki-Young Fraser. I'm going to put this in worst books of the year. I did not enjoy this. I feel like I wanted to enjoy it because I was really excited to pick it up, actually. It was just not very good, guys. It was very mundane. I thought it was going to be like a weird girl book, which like I guess it was, but I don't know. It just wasn't what I was expecting and it was boring. We have, I think that's, yeah, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. This is my 4th favorite of the series, but not so good that it would be in like almost perfect. So we'll put it in enjoyed it. Next, we have Amari and the Night Brothers. Again, I'm going to put this in enjoyed it, but don't really think about it. I think this is an amazing story for someone who is in middle school. I would have loved this story so much if I was the right age for it. Nothing wrong with the story or the writing or anything like that. It was just too young for me. Scythe by Neil Shusterman is going to go in almost perfect. I really enjoyed this one. I can't believe I haven't picked up the rest of the series yet. I think the beginning was pretty slow for me, but then once I hit like maybe mid-book, things really started picking up and I felt really excited about where the story was going. And it left on such a big cliffhanger, so I'm just really excited to get into Thunderhead, the next book. Next is Forever Never by Lucy Score. I'll put it in enjoyed it, but don't think about it. I do think that it was fun for what it was. It was like a very fast and easy kind of palate cleanser read, but I had a lot of issues with the characters and there was probably at the minimum 10 smut scenes in this book. And that is far too many smut scenes for me. 3 smut scenes in a book is like my maxed out smut. I don't hate smut, but I don't want to just read all smut. We have The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I'm going to put it in not for me, but not horrible if my computer ever works. Oh my gosh, guys, my computer's so slow. It's so laggy. Not stand out whatsoever. And I didn't really enjoy myself. It was one of those books where I was just like planning on what my next read was going to be while I was reading it. Probably one that I should have DNF'd, honestly. And the very last book we have to rank is The Outsider by Stephen King. I'm going to put it in, again, enjoyed it, but I don't really think about it. I think it was creepy and spooky. This was my first book that was like a crime thriller, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I liked that we had like crime and thriller and also horror mixed in together. This was also my first Stephen King ever. It was okay. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it. There was a few things that I really did not like in terms of the way that Stephen King wrote the women in these books, but I won't get into that whole spiel. This is kind of exactly how I expected it to go, honestly, guys. For the most part, I feel like I had a pretty good year. I mean, the top half of this chart is pretty full, which is what we want, right? I'm just hoping that since I've kind of honed in on my bookish taste a little bit more, that next year when I do this video, it'll be even more top heavy. But overall, I think it was a great year. This was so fun to kind of go back and see where all of the books that I read stand. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and comment and subscribe. I would love to have you stick around for my 2026 reading journey. But until next week, guys, bye!